Yeah, just like you have a very boomy voice anyway. And like I said, it sounded like you were like, man, it's like is like empty as you can make a room sound with how like bold your voice is. Like he's got to be in a kitchen or something. So let's see, get this switched over. So I had an issue a while back. Go ahead and say something for me, Gio. I just want to check our clips here real quick.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay, there we go.
This is Gio Laurenti, and we are the BP Hero Podcast.
Yeah, I'll just let you take the wheel, I guess, right? So I don't know how many people got the notification. We are live, but I don't know how many people got the notification just like randomly out of nowhere. Gosh, I guess it was Thursday, the Thursday after the podcast. My computer just decided to go live. So it was just like 20 minutes of dead air. Jason Herndon, what's up, buddy? So it was like 20 minutes of dead air, like in my house. Like you could hear my kid playing video games, and I don't know what the deal was, but ever since then, like all my stream settings are all messed up. Like I had to literally go back in and like redo everything on the fly here. I wasn't expecting that, but we're live now. We made it. We're live with Giovanni Laurenti. And in case you were wondering, just by chance, that he is very Italian.
I am very Italian. Very, 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 very Italian.
Not that the name would have gave that away or anything.
Okay, so that's funny you mentioned that. My mom just did one of those 23andMe things. Where you like, I don't know if you give some blood or whatever, and you send it in, and then they could tell you like you're related to dinosaurs or something like that. So anyway,
what? You're too much.
So it came back because we always thought, okay, so my dad's side is full Italian, just all full on Italian. In fact, my grandmother and grandfather are both from Italy.
Okay.
In fact, there was my uncle found documentation. He sent it to me. He goes, hey nephew, I thought you would find this interesting. So he sent it to me, and it was actually the paperwork, the Ellis Island paperwork, where my grandmother's name is on it. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, that is cool.
That to be able to trace her coming over to America and where she came in, and I'm like, what am I? That makes me second generation.
Yes.
Second generation American. So, and then my mother, her family's like extremely American. They're so American that they wear bald eagles for hats, and they.
Excuse me, your freedom is showing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So they, like my grandfather was from Kentucky, and my grandmother was from Pocahontas, Arkansas, which is about as small as it sounds. And
what's up, Eric? How you doing?
Like, I think he's like my mom used to say it on my side of the family, you're Scotch, Irish, English, Indian, Portuguese. And I said, oh, okay, cool. And
which just like claim to be an Italian, okay?
Well, that's what. Okay, so yeah, with a name like that, nobody thinks you're British. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. or like, American.
It's like, well, why is if that were true, my name would have been like Giovanni Evans or something like that.
Right, Evans. Anything but Laurenti.
Right. What's up, Eric?
Yeah.
And Jason and Matthew. What's up?
Everybody checking in here. So it's kind of funny, you talk about that stuff. So I have a lot of a Sicilian heritage myself.
Do you?
Yeah. So that's let's see. So my grandpa, his father, was native to Sicily.
Really?
Yes.
No kidding. Yeah. That is really interesting. See, that's where you get your sassiness from. That's where the Sicilian side.
Oh yeah, definitely got to be. I mean, dude, my whole family. Like my dad's side of the family, it's wild.
Right. Yeah.
We were.
Yeah, dude. That's. All those. To go back to those photos I sent you.
Yeah.
You're in I wish I could find the other ones because you're in a lot. You're in like at least 3 different occasions of these photos.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because the the one I sent you was one was the tournament that we played in Sturgeon. That was
I forgot about that one.
when we came up. Yeah, we came up played. It was you, like me and Darren, Matt, and Matty McDermott. And Jay Merritt's team was there. Jay Merritt.
Yeah, I think that's who we ended up losing to that day, right?
Right. I don't even remember who we played. I didn't even know any of those teams because they were, I guess, local to that area. And I think I was at that time I was either playing D or C, so I didn't really know. And that sounds really bad. I didn't really know any E teams. You know what I mean? So
sure. No. Yeah.
Yeah. There's that one. The snowball. We played the snowball, and we played together on a team. I believe it was called Chaos. Didn't we play on a team together called Chaos? We only played one tournament, and it was a hodgepodge team.
I think it was with PJ, right?
I think it was PJ. It was my buddy Jackson.
I think Odell might have been there.
Odell, yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. So there's like 3 tournaments, and I got so many pictures of stuff that I've played in, over the years. And half of it is like on cell phones, and the other half is like actual genuine pictures. That's how old I am. So like before cell phones, you could take pictures with cell phones. You had to actually have a camera.
Well, see, there was what was it? Bohica? Was that what it was?
Bohica, yeah.
I played a couple of tournaments. Matt Allen picked me up to play with you guys a couple of times. There was that one too.
Yeah. We played. You played with us in that. That was the one we played at. Ferdinand. We played in the Ferdinand tournament. That was. Yeah.
Played at Ferdinand, then played at Sun Valley. I remember the Sun Valley one as well.
I don't remember how we did. How did we do? Do you remember that?
Sun Valley, we made a little bit of noise, then just kind of fell flat. I think we lost our first, if I remember correctly, we lost our first game of the day and then kind of like stormed back through the losers bracket a little bit. Actually ended up, we drove, Sun Valley for me is like 3.5 hours away. And I say 3, it's probably closer to 3, but we drove all the way down there and then ended up playing another team from Moberly. Like, what are the odds,
I know, right?
So I remember that we beat them and then just kind of fell flat on our face after that. We'd played 3 or 4 games in a row in, middle of the time, summertime.
That's what sucks when you get That's what sucks when you get knocked into the losers bracket. You got to fight your way back all the way back.
Well, you get more games that way.
Well, you do get more games, but then by the time you play your 7th or 8th game in a row, like if it's let's say it's a deep tournament, you're playing a lot of teams, and you're going through the losers bracket like that, by the 7th or 8th game, you're roasted.
Yeah.
Because you're having to play back to back to back. I've won tournaments like that where you got to play back to back to back to back, and you just stay hot the entire time because you're just playing and playing and playing.
Sure.
And then you wind up catching on a team in the later area where you're getting towards the semifinal and the final, teams that have been sitting for 2 hours.
Well, there's not a worse feeling than running into a team like that as well. Like if you've been kind of hanging out in the top side of the bracket, then you get knocked into the losers bracket, and you're playing that team that's got just a head of momentum coming. Sometimes you don't want to see those teams either. There's teams that get hot, and you just cannot slow them down when they get into those situations. We
ran into a team like that. We didn't lose to them. We actually beat them. We sent them home early. So it was Bohica. It's funny because we were talking about Bohica. Bohica, we were playing in the World up at where was that? Kankakee, Illinois.
Okay.
We were playing in Kankakee, and we played this team from Indiana, and these guys were jerks, man. They had this kind of chip. They played with this chip on their shoulder, and all we were doing was just going in, just hit. Let's just keep hitting, keep hitting. And they started out like hitting a little bit, and then after I think it was after the first inning, 2nd inning we hit, 3rd inning we hit, 4th inning we hit, and we just buried them. And by the 5th inning, they're like, I walked in, I hit a base hit, and the guy who was playing first base. This is why because none of them were nice. Like all of them were just pricks. But I hit a base hit to right. The guy that was playing first base, I walked up and, being a sport, like, I try to be a sportsman when I play.
Sure.
And I walked up and I just kind of I tapped a guy, like when I got to first base. I said, hey, man, I go, dude, nice hit last inning. I said, dude, you really hit that ball hard. He goes, I don't care, man. Shut up. That's what he said.
Yeah. See, why do people have to be like that? Stuff drives me nuts. You're gonna get me on a soapbox on your podcast, but like that stuff drives me nuts. Like, why do people get so serious that they one, can't take a compliment, and two, can't appreciate the fact that at the end of the day they're at the ball field competing?
I know.
You know,
that's like, I love playing ball. Love it. Like, to me, it's like, there's something symbiotic about putting on a glove.
That's a big word.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's symbolic to go to a field and put on a glove, see the dirt kick up, the heat, the smell of the glove, just the action, everything going on. I love it. I love every minute of it.
Sure.
And everybody who plays, I'm sure, loves every minute of it. So if you're on the field, so going back to what we were saying, so if you're on the field and you don't love it, why are you there?
Correct. If you're that miserable, why are you there?
If I'm losing games, I'm still driving to win, but I love it the entire time, no matter what.
Yeah.
That is why I'm there. I'm there to win, but I'm also there playing ball, and I love it. I love the game.
I feel like people kind of lose perspective of that sometimes too.
Oh, absolutely. I got to be honest. Like, playing with the younger, like when I got asked by I don't know if you know Easton. I'm sure you probably ran into Easton.
Yeah, I've ran across him a couple times. Played a couple of games against him, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't know who he is. But I've seen him around Facebook and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Easton Toppin, great kid, good kid. I've been kind of taking him under my wing, kind of mentoring him a little bit. He has aspirations of becoming a pitcher. So, and he's got, let me tell you what, he's got swag like for miles. Like,
it's the hair. It's the hair game.
It's the hair. Yeah, soft and balanced. I don't know how he does it, Cotton.
Yeah.
And he's a really good kid. He's a good hitter. He's really focused. He wants to do, me and him said, we had a conversation. I said, because he was really, at the time, I think he was dating this gal. I don't mean to, sorry, Easton, I'm putting some of your personal business out in here. Sorry. But he was kind of down and out. Like, him and his gal just broke up. And I said, why'd you guys break up? He goes, because I was playing ball and doing all that stuff. And I said, listen, I go, you're young enough to where, get all of this. If you're going to play ball, play ball. Just do it, and don't let anybody stop you, because you're young. Do it, do it until you can't do it anymore, because there may come a day where you can't.
Yeah. And be young and play ball when you can. Don't, like you said, don't say you can't do something, and look for all the advice that you can get, and take the advice that you get, especially from, somebody that's been in the game for a while. At the time when you're younger, it may feel like someone's trying to come down on you, or, try to drop some knowledge on you. But at the end of the day, if somebody that's been around the game for a long time is giving you tips and advice, it's because they want to help you,
Oh yeah. Yeah. With him, he's a good kid. He's a really good kid. Playing.
I've heard nothing but good things about him.
Yeah. Well, he comes from good stock. His dad's a good ball player. His dad played league. We played league together on Sunday nights out at Ozzy's, and he's a good kid. And when I watched him the first time, when he first jumped on with us, he's just typical 18-year-old. Can run, can gun, got a cannon for an arm, can play every position on the field. When we were all 18, we could always play the position.
Yeah, sure.
Like that. I'm a little jealous of his wheels because I don't have those wheels. So.
Hey, I feel your pain. Me neither.
Well, now I'm just fat. I can't run anymore. So yeah, he's a good kid. He's got a bright future ahead of him. I told him, I said, just play in as many world events as you can get into, many big tournaments as you get into. It'll get you experience.
Yeah.
Experience pays. And experience pays.
Absolutely.
Because you step in, I watch, some teams, some guys on some teams will step in the box, and when they swing, and if they're at a tournament, you can tell if this is their first tournament, or if it's their first year, for that matter. as a pitcher, you look for weakness.
Oh, yeah. And you look for those guys in the lineup, too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And, obviously you can always tell, why somebody's hitting where they're hitting,
Sure.
But, some lineups are just really strong from, 1 to 10 or 1 to 11 or even 1 to 12.
Right.
We ran into a team a couple weeks, we took third in this SSUSA tournament we played in. And I got to be honest, I don't play young tournaments anymore. I may jump in one, like there's a fundraiser one that they have at Ozzy's. It's for a suicide awareness, which I will always play in those tournaments. And just a small side note, I had a best friend in high school who committed suicide when we were like in our early to mid 20s.
Okay.
So that is a subject that's a thing that I'll always support. And I'll always back money to, and I'll always play in those tournaments because I believe in those causes. So, not to get all,
No, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with, standing behind a cause. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I'll play in those tournaments, and usually, I get together with me and Matt Allen, who's my softball brother. We'll get together, and usually we'll pop a team in, or sometimes we'll take our league team. We won't, we'll get in it. We'll try to win a few games here and there, but we won't. Like some teams, some guys, they just bring their entire tournament team out, obviously, as they should, and they go in and just destroy.
Sure.
But which is fine. I'm just happy to get maybe 3 games out of it, maybe 4 games in October, which is, you don't get that a lot unless you're traveling to Florida, Texas, Arizona, places like that.
Yeah, 4 games in means you probably won a couple, means you lost a couple. I mean, really, that's a good day to me. To show up at the ballpark and go 2-2. Nobody plans on going 2-2, but 2-2 is a day that I can walk away from saying hey, I got my money's worth out of the day. We could have did better, but we still played well and I had a good time.
Oh yeah, but. There are things about the younger guys, and I don't mean to throw a shot at the younger guys.
Hey, throw shots. Let's go.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll throw those. I'm sorry, Jesse. I'll throw those darts. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, but playing with younger guys, there's the things I don't miss is the attitudes and throwing a fit on a field like a 5-year-old and. Getting into fights with other teams, people getting all boisterous and all that. I don't miss any of that.
No.
I don't miss any of that. And when I went and I took that jump because who did I run into? My dad has always played. My dad played senior ball. He's played tournament ball my entire life.
Yeah. So I hate to interrupt you. Let's circle back to this real quick. So, obviously I knew we would dive right into this and just kind of breeze past it. But let's.
We're friends. Well, we're friends, Jesse.
Yeah,
so we
absolutely.
can just have a conversation.
Yeah.
I would do this with you even if there was nothing on.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If we were just talking on the phone. So.
Yeah. So let's circle back. We're 17 minutes into this podcast. Sorry, we like to talk. So I promised Snacks that I could do 3 hours of this. You know what I mean? Well, hey, listen, you only get an hour. Maybe we'll do 3 segments of an hour, okay?
I'm fine with that. We can stretch it out. In fact, we can probably do 10 segments.
Yeah.
Just a month of stuff.
We'll just do I guess we'll just have our own episodes, right? You'll have your own season of the podcast.
Right.
So,
Geo, Section 4, Subsection 5.
Yeah, right. So, who is Giovanni Laurenti? For those that don't know, I obviously we'll get into your past. What kind of got you into softball? Obviously, you mentioned your dad. I kind of wanted to talk about that some as well. But let's get started with what got you into slow pitch.
Okay, so when I was my initial start was when I was 16, I was playing baseball at the time, and my father was playing in a league down at Barra Park, which is in St. Louis, down on this place called The Hill. I don't know if you're familiar with The Hill. Okay, so my dad was playing down there with his regular league team at the time, and they only had one of the guys had a car problem or something, doesn't matter, but he couldn't make it. So I was already there. I was just there to watch. They were playing doubleheader, and I was just there to watch. And my dad goes, "You got your glove and stuff in the car?" And I said, yeah, why? He goes, well, we need a shortstop.
Oh,
He
that threw
goes,
you right in.
he goes, can you play? He goes, do you want to play? And I said, yeah. So I ran to my car, grabbed my gear out, my glove, and my cleats, which were like more like spikes. You know what I mean? So,
Oh yeah.
because I didn't have turfs or anything like that. I was still in my baseball cleats, but threw those on, threw my glove on, got out there, and this was in a time when there were no composite bats. So, for those of you thinking I picked up like a Mike and Freak or something like that, or Ultra, just was hitting freaking 400-foot bombs, that wasn't happening then. So
that was a year later.
No, yeah, literally. I went to the gym, everyone, and took some roids and just roided out a bunch.
Yeah.
No, that's not what happened. But I went out. Well, my dad, before he took me aside, he goes, all right. He goes, if anybody, because I had a baby face then. My dad goes, here, listen. He goes, if the umpire asks, you're 18. I said, okay. So I went out there and played 2 games. I played good defense. I absolutely hit horribly. Probably I think I made a bunch of outs. Just just ground ball, fly ball.
The transition is tough.
Oh, very. It's when you're trying to time a softball after seeing 65 miles an hour, coming down the pipe. And throwing that hard at the time. You're or actually, what was I throwing? I was throwing harder than that. I think I was throwing 70, 72 at that time. So. But it was definitely a hard transition. But then after that, I didn't play for a couple of years. And once I actually turned 18, my dad asked me to play in the league over in what's that? I think it was either Forest Wood or Forest Park. I think it was Forest Wood. I played over him at Forest Wood in Ferguson. I don't know are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Forest Wood? Okay, so I went over there and played at Forest Wood, and actually I met Reagan. Reagan Johnson. I don't know if he's listening right now. He said he was going to, but he plays senior ball as well now. And he plays. I think his team just won actually.
Nice.
His team won. Yeah, they won their division. But that's where I met him. He was like in his mid-20s when I met him, and I was like 18. And I think we have a photo of it somewhere of when I was that young and we were both young and met. But I played there, and I just got kind of honed my chops, learned how to hit a little bit. My dad kind of shared, his wisdom. I got a little better hitting, but not much. But my defense was like very solid. By this time, I was out in the outfield playing, and one of the guys from that team asked me. He says, "Hey, man," he goes, "I think you're a great ball player." He goes, "Would you want to come and play with me out at Fountain Lakes on Sundays?" I said, "Sure." So I went out and played, and that was like the first competitive league I was ever in. And when I say competitive, it was very competitive.
At the fresh age of 16.
No. This was 18.
Oh, okay.
I was 18. And from there, I started picking up I would get asked by certain guys to just pick up different leagues. And then I got picked up, and I played my first tournament at 18 too.
Nice.
I played my first tournament.
So were you able to play a lot of ball with your old man? Let's talk about your old man. I mean, he's not just any softball player. I mean, obviously the picture I posted here is his induction plaque to the St. Louis Softball Hall of Fame. Yeah. Yeah,
he's a Slams inductee. He also right now there's talk of him being inducted nationally too. So
really.
Yeah. Well, he's got 12 world championships. So
it's
kind of. Well, very. He's got 12 world championships. He's got something like half of those, like either 6 or 7 of them are all tournaments.
Wow.
He's won a lot. Yeah, he's won a lot, man. He set the bar very high. I'll just say that. He set the bar very high. As my dad, he always says stuff all the time. "Oh, you're better than I ever was." I'm like, "No, Dad." I'm like, "You got the rings. You got the all tournaments." I was like, I was like, you set the bar, and I tell him that. I go, "You set the bar very high." I said, "But that's good because it pushes me."
Sure.
It gives me something to think about when I'm on the field, even though I don't really think about it, but kind of in the back of my mind, I think it kind of motivates me to be better and be good at every tournament I play in.
It holds you accountable
to win stuff. Yeah, to win stuff.
Yeah.
And winning trophies and rings and all that is great and everything, but it's like I just overall I love the game. I love the game more than anything. And that, like, well, I say more than anything, like sport wise,
Sure.
you know. I mean, I'm never going to love the game more than my family or the Lord, Jesus, you know. But I love the game. But I guess going back to, you know, my dad, I've watched him win tournaments. You know, he introduced me to my first composite bat,
Which was
the Ultra One.
okay. All right.
So,
I kind of figured.
oh, I got a story about that. I'll
Okay,
tell
go.
the story. Okay, so we were playing at Forest Park. My dad had just gotten back from Florida. Like he was playing I think he was playing, they were not a regional, it was some kind of tournament where it was not a world, but it was like a regional for that area. And the team he was playing with at the time was called Pallet. And he went down there and this guy was selling them, like this Mikan dealer, excuse me, was down there selling them. And
okay.
my dad saw a few guys doing, because at that time they still did home run derbies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My dad saw a derby of a couple of guys hitting them, and he's like, "What the heck is that?" And he went and forked out the money for the Ultra, and then brought it back up to St. Louis. He bought that one, and then he bought the Ultra 2. And when he brought it back up to St. Louis, he came to the league and he goes, "Gio, swing this." I said, "Okay, whatever." And I just assumed it was, you know, just like everything else.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man, neat, another metal bat." You know what I mean? So, no, it wasn't a metal bat. That's for sure.
Surprise, right?
Dude, my first ball with this, okay. So I'll set this up. So you have the Mikan. You have no fences. We were playing on, at the time we were playing on what was called the jewel box. It's the field on the high side.
Okay.
And I stepped to the plate. The balls we're using at the time were 50 core balls. Okay.
Oof.
Yeah.
That'll get an Ultra broke in.
Oh, dude. No, my dad had already swung it. He'd already swung at a tournament. He swung at the entire tournament.
Oh, yeah. So he had a reason up for you
swing zone. Oh, very. And he goes, and he looks at my brother like, this is what my brother told me after the fact, 'cause my brother played on the same team. He goes, he looks at Phil, he goes, "Watch this." And the guy threw me a strike, and I hit it 430 feet into the trees. Into left field.
That's a poke. That is a
poke. When I saw it go, I actually, because I didn't run right away. Like, I was just so shocked. Because it felt like it was, you know how when you pure a ball, it just feels amazing.
Oh, yeah.
On the hand.
Yeah.
So, and that's what that felt like. It was just, I pured it. Like, it's that perfect golf shot where you hit it, it's just right down the fairway and you don't feel it.
Yeah, right down like Broadway. That.
Oh, dude. And I hit it and I watched it go, and all I could do was watch it. And then I hear people behind me, "Go run!" You know? And I ran, and that was when I could run. So I was around the bases in like 2 seconds, and the guy was still getting the ball after I was already sitting on the bench after I'd already scored.
So that was your first taste of composite bats.
Oh, yeah. And oh, man, that wasn't the first nor the last shot. I got another story behind that. Fast forward many years later, own a lot of bats, that kind of stuff, playing tournaments, whatnot. I'm playing with my dad again. We were playing at Afton Sports Complex. It was just a league team my dad wanted to throw together for an excuse to play with us again.
Sure.
And we're playing, are you familiar with Afton Sports Complex?
I've been there once, but it was so long ago, I don't really remember a whole lot about it.
Okay, so when you go to the field, it's a diamond shape. So it's when you actually are looking at home plate, it's your typical average diamond shape out to, half diamond out to the fence.
Okay.
But then when you get out to the fence, because the fences are 300, it diamond shapes again to center, which it goes from being 300 to 450 feet to center.
Kind of like Sturgeon. You remember the field in Sturgeon?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it just takes up a whole city block.
Yeah, right. Because it's not really for softball per se. It's for baseball.
Yeah, you're right.
But so we're on this field, and it was like probably the most unique, like, because there was no circle involved. Like, you know how a baseball field, is obviously just it ovals in the outfield.
Right.
So this was like another diamond. It like forked, like it the two ends met, like in a corner, in the back.
Right.
And it was 450. They had a sign out there that said 450. And I was like, man, that's a shot out there.
It's kind of like the Polo Grounds, huh?
Right. Oh, very. Dude, it was so far. And my dad walks up. My dad has so many bats that he had a cart that he brought all his bats in. So I'm not even exaggerating. I should take a photo and send it to you because he still has it in his house. So, which he's 80, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows that. And he still plays.
I was getting ready to ask you if he still gets around and plays a little bit at all.
Oh, he plays a lot.
Dude, that's
he plays
awesome.
all the time. He plays it. If you're ever up here, like on a Monday, like if you ever just take a day off and come up here, if you come up on a Monday or Wednesday or something like that, let me know and I'll take you to Fenton. And the Fenton on Monday and Wednesday is all the seniors.
Yeah, so I know
it's all the seniors.
I don't know if they do it every night, but I know I used to play league on Thursdays in Columbia, and every night they have all the seniors out there playing on one field. They all take some batting practice, and I believe they play a scrimmage game.
We do. We play. Yeah, we play whenever I try to go, like, you know, every so often because I work. A lot of those guys are retired, so they you know, they can play. I mean, there's some guys like you'll see 50-year-olds strewed out about. You know what I mean? 40 and 50-year-olds strewed out about. They take a day off and they want to go play. I've seen Ramo out there. You know Ramo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Ramo's out like a couple of weeks ago. I was out, or not more than a couple weeks ago, like a couple months ago. I was out there, and me and Ramo were out there hitting with his dad. His dad plays too.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. His dad hits oppo amazingly, like just all the time. It's all he does is just right field line every time.
And that's the thing, like playing against the senior guys, they're so crafty that sometimes it gets taken for granted until you either A, have to do it, or B, have to play against it. You know, I remember we played a tournament. I've told this story several times on the podcast. I was playing with a bunch of young kids, and there was supposed to be a silver and senior that weekend. Well, there wasn't enough teams for senior, so they just decided to throw the senior team in with silver. And all these young kids are thinking like, oh, it's a bunch of old guys. You know, we're gonna kick their butts, and they beat us. I mean, just the look on their faces after they beat us. I told them, I was like, do not sleep on them and be ready to field the ball because they're going to hit it at you. They're going to hit it at you. They're going to hit it around you. And they base hit us. They had one guy that could hit home runs, and he hit one every time he was up. And other than that, they just base hit us to death.
I got another story about that. Well, okay. So what were we talking about originally? Go back.
You were at Afton.
Oh, Afton Sports Complex. I'll tell that, and then I'll tell the other story.
Okay.
So Afton Sports Complex. Going back to that, my dad rolls up with his cart, sees the umpire, because it's our first game up there. He says, "Hey, what's the because we had never played up there before." He goes, "What's the association up here?" He goes, "What's the bat restriction?" And he goes, "Well, you can use anything you want. You just can't use a wood bat."
Oh, what?
Yeah. So my dad, without even missing a beat, turns around because we were getting ready to put our bats on the fence. Pulls out the Ultra 1, pulls out the Ultra 2, and sets them on the fence, and gets his glove on, and we start playing catch. I hit a ball that night because this was like probably 10, 15 years ago. I hit a ball. Okay, so in left center, anybody who knows Afton who's listening, anybody who knows Afton Sports Complex, when you hit it over the fence at left, there's like a little berm hill that goes up, and then I think there's a running track behind it. I believe that's a running track. So if you hit it over the running track, there's a little bit there's like some grassy knoll area, and then there's an apartment complex beyond that. I hit a ball into the grassy knoll from there.
So we're pulling up Google Earth here on the computer. See if we can't try and draw a visual picture for these listeners that are watching on YouTube. We are on We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. But if you're watching on YouTube, you get the advantage of having visual aids. So let's go. Afton, is that in Missouri? Right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's called Afton Sports Complex. So there, when you probably from where you're looking at, like if it depends on where you're looking at here. I'm going to do this with you. So because it's the second field facing
So let's see. I got the Afton Athletic Association practice fields, Afton Athletes Field.
Okay, so we are here. Afton Sports Complex is down this way. I think it's off of, is it Grant? Respect? No. Wait.
I believe I can screenshot.
There we go, Afton. There we go. There we go. I'm trying to remember where it's at. I've been there quite a few times. So it's been a long time since I've been there. Here, let's look at this. Afton. It'll pull it up on here. Afton Sports Complex. Afton Athletic Fields. Let's go with that one. Let's see. Afton Athletic Association. McNary. Wait, what road is that? I can't tell what freaking.
Yeah, Patrick, I'm getting there.
Grant Forest.
So here, check out.
Gravois. Okay, yeah, it's off Gravois.
Okay, yeah. So I was just getting ready to say, just check the screen here and make sure I got it pulled up right.
Okay, let me see.
If you're watching the feed, it'll be just a couple seconds behind here.
Okay. Let me see, Gravois Creek. Where's the parking lot? Okay, so the high side, north of where, like, if we're looking at it straight down like this, north here, there's the parking lot. It's this field here. I'm sorry, I said this field here. It says we're Afton Ballparks.
Yeah.
Afton Ballparks right
there.
Oh,
I see it. The square one. Yeah.
You see the square? That's the one.
Okay.
That's the one.
My goodness, look at that. That is so awkward.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Yeah. No, wait. Hold on. I'm looking at it wrong. Okay, so go south. The parking lot, the south parking lot.
Okay. I see. Okay, so you got that. What a bunch of weird ball fields.
I'm trying to think of it. Okay, so
Gio, you're killing us here.
Okay, so the second. Okay, so I think I was right with the second one. It's really far. It's really, really far.
So let's check some distances here.
Check the distance, man. Go to the second field, check the distance. Because that, you see how it's like just a big square?
So let's see. I want to do a line. I'm going to do a path.
I'm sorry, listeners. I'm sorry.
Feet from here to here. 402 feet to dead center on that field.
Okay. So I swear it said 450.
Oh, okay. I bet it's this one up here then.
Yeah, it was.
Because that 411. Either okay, Gio, listen. Either way, we're talking a softball hit a really long ways. All right.
Yeah, it was.
Is this a fishing story? Did you add extra footage to that? Yeah.
He's telling a tall tale, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, yeah. I mean, is this a fishing story? Did you add feet to that? Did you count the roll? Maybe.
I probably. You know what? I probably. No. No, but no. It was a really far shot. I just remember when I hit it, it went way, way, way over the fence, like so far. And again, they were using, like, I think, you remember the Rowling Silverback balls?
Yes.
Was it Silverback or was it, no? Yeah, Rowling Silverback.
Yeah, they made Silverback softballs, yeah.
They were really good. Like, these were like, I think they were 44 400s, and they were really good. Like, I don't know what they said you could throw whatever you wanted. I didn't know that, and if I had known that, I would have thrown in some 525s to go with that, which would have been amazing. Or I'd have called up my boy Jesse and got me some stadiums.
Ooh, yeah.
That would have been the 650, 650 launches.
Yeah,
oh man.
Yeah, they get you some ultimate evils. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
There are some guys I would just be like, I would love to see them hit it with a good bat with a stadium.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, one of the guys is Matt Halliday. I always said Matt Halliday would be an awesome softball player because he's just got so much raw power and he's got that swing. I mean, he could hit a line drive 450, like just 500 feet.
Yeah,
easy.
let's let him be catcher or EH though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Watching him in left field all those years just made me hold my breath every time the ball went to left. Every time. Like, I understand. I believe at one point he even had a Gold Glove. But they must have just had nobody else to give it to that year. Like,
that's true. Well, I think aren't you staking that from like 2009 when you missed that fly ball from Dodger Stadium?
So
the one?
he never really looked graceful, you might say. I mean, he caught all the routine stuff, but if it was anything outside of routine, just hold your breath. I mean, but it couldn't be any worse than the time that oh gosh, help me. He plays for the Braves now.
Plays for the Braves now?
Yeah. Marcell Ozuna climbed the fence and then the ball hit behind him. He won a Gold Glove.
Yeah, he did. in right field, yeah.
Oh man.
For the Marlins, yeah.
Yeah.
He's part of me is like, I'm kind of glad he left, but then part of me was like, when he left, he went to the Braves and he became a stud. Like he won the batting title and all that.
He was good. I always thought Marcell Ozuna was good anyway. But hey, real quick, speaking of Cardinals, do the Cardinals make a deal for Juan Soto?
Depends. Okay, so it depends on what you give up. If you're giving up Walker and Wynn, I say no. If they even ask for Walker and Wynn, you say no.
I've seen Walker, Wynn, and Carlson.
Well, I mean, they can say what they want. If I were a GM, I'd be like, nope, like, it's too much. You're basically, okay, so Wynn is going to be, he will be a shortstop for the Cardinals given like 3 or 4 years. Okay. Like I say 3 years because he's moving pretty fast through the system. So I say Mason Wynn. And did you see the throw? Did you ever see a throw that guy makes from, because he's a two-way player, or he was a two-way player. Okay. Now he's just kind of sticking to shortstop. But he can throw he throws like 101 from the shortstop position.
That's ridiculous. I have seen the clip, yeah.
Yeah, so you saw the clip. You saw the clip of him throwing. It's pretty ridiculous. But I mean, they're saying his bat is coming around. He's really hitting well. So it's like, wow. It's like this guy could be, like maybe another Edgar Renteria with a better arm.
Oh man, Edgar Renteria was my guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not the biggest Juan Soto fan myself personally. It's just with today's youth. Today's youth is very arrogant, and he's a kid, so he's going to be arrogant because he's good at baseball.
But you put him around guys like Goldschmidt and Arenado, who are stars, who handle their stardom with a sprinkle of grace. Yeah, I think that they can. He would be the type of guy they could put under their wing. Yeah, and say, listen. You know what? You're a great star and everything like that, but here, do it this way.
Yeah, and like, pardon my French, but like St. Louis has never really had like a true like shithead player, like that player.
I don't know if I agree with that. But
Who you got?
Let's see.
If you got to think about it, we didn't have one.
No. Just give me a sec. I'm older. Okay.
So we can't pull back to the databases from the 80s, Gio. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, sure. To suit your argument, of course we can.
Who was the guy? Okay, so basically, the guy that we traded to San Diego for Ozzie Smith, he was a jerk. Not George Kendrick.
Yeah, you're talking way before my time here, brother. This doesn't count. I didn't watch baseball then. It doesn't count. How's that? No, you can't Google it either. I'm telling you.
Gary Templeton. I had to look. Gary Templeton. Templeton. That guy was a jerk. I just couldn't remember his name.
No, but you would see. Here's the deal. If he was that annoying, you would remember his name.
But no, okay. Would you like me to tell you what he did? I just couldn't remember his name. Like right off, just in that particular.
All right, Gio. Listen, this is your podcast. Have the floor.
Okay, so Gary Templeton, he was not playing well. Gussie Busch was upset with him. I mean, the organization just in general was upset with him. Whitey Herzog, they had a big rift. They actually got into a fight in the dugout. That's actually, you can go back and watch clips of it. And he was just tearing him down. And Gary Templeton, the last straw was that when he was coming off the field, the fans were booing him because he was the year prior, I think he was winning not winning batting titles, but he was hitting like around 300. He was a really good player. He was a really good player. And it seemed like he was being lazy, and he flipped off the fence.
Oh, that's cool.
He hit him up with double bullets, right in their faces. And Cardinals Ace was just like, what? What are you doing? And the Cardinals organization was like, nope, we can't have that. So they traded for a very little known shortstop, who's just kind of San Diego's like, we don't want this guy. He's not going to turn into anything.
He's a runt. He's a runt.
He's a runt. Yeah, he can't. He can maybe make a couple throws up the middle. That's about it. Meanwhile, he's a Hall of Famer. Got a statue outside and stuff, named, and a whole park named after him.
Yeah, look at him now, right?
Yeah. And you know what Gary Templeton has named after him? A YouTube clip.
Yeah, you're probably right. But listen, that's fair. I'll give you that one. But I'm talking like Cardinals of like recent years.
Recent years?
Yeah, nobody.
J.D. Drew.
Yeah, J.D. Drew wasn't. While he played for the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's what you said. I said you said recent. That's more recent.
It is, but J.D. Drew really didn't have a lot of moments when he was in St. Louis. He had moments other places. I mean, that's obviously what got him in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. I would say probably Colby Rasmus.
Yeah, okay. He's kind of a hothead, yeah.
Yeah.
But not a guy
Joaquin Andujar, even though people liked him, he was kind of a jerk. Him and Whitey butted heads a lot.
Not a guy that I look at and think, like, man, I just can't stand you. Like that's
okay. I think people loved who was it? Keith Hernandez when he played for the Cardinals in the '70s, and then once he left and went to the Mets, he was hated.
Gio, I wasn't even thought of in the '70s. Why are you doing this to me?
Because, man. Because. You're asking me about players that were hated, like by the that people that or players that played for the Cardinals that were hated. I think, but when you talk to when you talk to former players or you interview with former players or anything like that, and they'll talk about you'll catch on little hints, just in the way they talk about other players. Like the one guy, so this, again, you may not know this guy, Danny Cox. You know Danny Cox?
Nope.
Danny Cox was a pitcher for the Cardinals in the 80s. He was a very good pitcher for the Cardinals. There was a few years where he was really good. He actually he pitched in the playoffs extremely well in 87. But he was a guy that everyone hated. Everyone on the team hated him because he was like the version of Chris Carpenter, but like Chris Carpenter just would bring his stuff out to the field and just be a jerk on the field. And once he got off the field, he was a nice guy. Sure. But Danny Cox was like, when he went off the field, he's like, I'm still going to kill you. He was that guy. He was that guy.
Yeah. So, man, speaking of killing people, is that shots? Is that gunshots?
No, that's my dog. Actually, my dog knows how to open it. My dog knows how to open every door in my house.
Oh, that's handy. So
yeah. No, not really. He's curious.
So I'm getting a baseball lesson here. I got Patrick and Jason in the comment section here. You're talking about these players and they're naming them off and carrying on here. But another one is Luke Voigt. Luke Voigt is one I kind of forgot about, honestly.
You said Luke Voigt?
Uh-huh.
I don't think but I wouldn't put him in that same category. He was not a jerk of a player. He had no place. Where are you going to put him? I thought that, had we not traded him to New York, we wouldn't have got, didn't we get Gallegos through that trade?
I believe so. Gallegos and something else, right?
That lefty that we wound up DFAing. I can't, what's his name? I can't remember his name right now, but we wound up DFAing him and he was, Shreve, Chasen Shreve. That's who it was. Okay. Yeah. See, I feel like I shouldn't even remember his name because he sucked at that. Like we got him and it's like we got these great, it's like Gallegos could be a piece for the future, but man, we got Chasen Shreve. He's great. He's awesome. And we get him and he sucks.
Sure. Yeah.
Gave up he was who was the guy that we signed from Toronto? You remember?
Recently?
Yeah, within the last 5 years. He was a guy from Toronto. He came here. We gave him actually a lot of money, and he did nothing.
Position?
He was pitcher. He was a middle reliever. Come on, chat, help us out.
Yeah,
chat,
really.
help us out,
Oh my gosh.
You know who I'm talking about. He had a mullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Patrick is saying Whitey got rid of Keith because of coke.
yeah.
Dude, if teams got rid of guys because of cocaine in the 80s, nobody would have played. And I say that with absolute certainty. The 86 Mets, like just for example, took every drug everywhere. They were the Keith Richards of baseball. So I say it. You're looking it up, aren't you?
Yeah, it's driving me nuts. Anyway, I won't think of it, but
did you? Well, hold on. Let's see.
I remember the hair, and for whatever reason, Andrew Miller comes to mind, but that's not where Andrew Miller came from. Andrew Miller came from.
Andrew Miller was actually Brett Cecil. Brett Cecil.
Okay.
That's his name, Brett Cecil. Brett Cecil, for all those out there in the podcast world that.
Jason Hernan says Darryl Strawberry.
Well, I was just talking about the '86 Mets. You know, I'm friends with him on Facebook, Darryl Strawberry.
Oh, for real?
I talk to him every once in a while. Yeah.
Nice.
We talk about he's a super nice guy. He's actually a pastor now.
I heard that. Good for him.
He's a pastor now. He's a really nice guy. He's very candid about talking about the '80s and that kind of stuff. Because he played for let's just face it, he played for an iconic team. Yeah. 86 Mets. If you can't talk about the '80s without especially baseball in general and not talk about the '86 Mets.
So
they were the most volatile. They were the most volatile group of individuals that could play baseball.
So you're talking about living on the big stage, right? You talk about playing for the big organizations like he played for the Yankees. I heard an argument a while back talking about Derek Jeter, and the fact that Derek Jeter was good at baseball, but Derek Jeter anywhere else wouldn't carry the name and the legacy that he carried while he was in New York. But because but what people don't stop and think and realize is he did that on that stage. He performed the way he did. I don't hate that argument because Jeter never blew me away, but Jeter never made those what were you thinking mistakes either.
No, Jeter was a good fielder.
Oh yeah.
His fielding UZR would probably tell a little bit of a different story. I watched him make a couple really great plays, above average plays, but nothing he was never after you see Ozzie play, growing up, it's really hard to, or even Barry Larkin, for example. You watch those two guys play, everybody else kind of pales in comparison.
So Jeter,
it takes a lot to wow me if you're going to play shortstop after seeing Ozzie and Barry Larkin. Those are two Hall of Famers.
Sure, absolutely. So. And Jeter, one thing is Jeter had a decent skill set. He was a good athlete and he was very consistent.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. He was the model of consistency, and he was a great hitter. Yeah, he was a great hitter. Yeah. He was a clutch hitter. That's why he's Mr. November. That's his name.
Yeah, because all they had to do was get him there. All they had to do was get him there.
It's almost because hitting was never, even up to his last season, hitting was never a problem for him. He could always hit both for average and had a little bit of power too. He didn't hit for there was a couple seasons where he had decent home runs, but
yeah. Now we're talking Yankee Stadium power here. Let's be fair.
I said the same thing about Matt Carpenter. we were talking about Matt Carpenter, and I know I'm dogging Matt Carpenter. I got a photo actually on my phone. I should have sent that to you too of when I met Matt Carpenter. I met him years ago. Yeah. I was going to Academy of Sports for a completely unrelated reason. It was for my daughter's soccer thing. I go and buy her stuff every year. I have to buy her new stuff for club soccer.
Yeah, sure.
And we were at Academy of Sports, and I saw a sign that says Matt Carpenter signing 7:00. And I looked at my phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna be here in 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, kids. I'm like, let's go to the line. We're gonna get an autograph.
Yeah.
So I went and got an autograph, and I took pictures with my phone of me and Matt Carpenter, which I thought was really cool. And he was really, really nice to my kids. He was extra nice to my children. So
I've heard that he is a very good person. He's a very humble person. He just was not it, man. He had one good big year, a few decent years, and then he just fell off. And I'm glad that he's playing well in New York. The short fences is not why he's hitting the way he is in New York. He's found it again. I mean,
That's my joke. That's my joke.
Yeah.
That's my joke. Is I go on there and I say, oh man, it's that Yankee Stadium. I know it says 315, but it's really like 296. So
yeah. So
that's it's like hitting to the Crawford boxes. I mean, it's over. Is it still Minute Maid? No, it's probably not Minute Maid anymore. It's something else.
I think it is. No. Is it Minute Maid still?
Maybe. I don't know.
It was Minute Maid when Albert Pujols hit that home run off Brad Lidge. Do you know that?
Right. Well, oh yeah. Of course I do.
It was funny. I saw somebody put on.
I remember exactly where I was when that happened. I remember exactly. So how some moments you watch baseball and you know exactly. It doesn't matter. It could be anything in your life. You remember exactly where you were when something happened.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting on because I was upset that I remember being upset that that we were down in the series, and it was the Cardinals. The Astros were actually really good with the 3Bs that year, and it was just like, and I was hoping the Cardinals pulled through, but I didn't think they had enough pitching that year, and all this stuff's going through my head, and then Pujols comes up and does that. I'm like, yeah. I was like screaming at the TV, and I was in my apartment watching it on my television.
So
and I just.
Yeah, so anytime I talk about this, I post it somewhere. So we're just going to watch it right here in the podcast. This is by far, no question about it, my favorite.
Before you roll this clip out, I want to say this about the clip. I don't know if they show it in this particular thing, but because there's multiple angles on this. Like if you look at different broadcasts, there's one of Andy Pettit where he's lipping, and you can read his lips. He goes, "Oh my God." Like that, like when after Pujols hit
it. So I saw somebody post on Facebook said, Pujols. They announced that Pujols was going to hit in the home run derby, and somebody said called Brad Lidge so Pujols could win this derby.
Yeah, Lidge, throw up some of those. Throw some of those fluffy sliders.
Yeah, give me another one of them sliders. Here, let's roll the clip.
And let them go to work. That was amazing. Oh man. My favorite. Well, that's probably my favorite Pujols moment. I know, in the 2011 World Series, him hitting 3 home runs against Texas, that was pretty awesome too. But I mean, to hit a clutch home run like that in a situation where you're down in the series and you need to score runs, and to come up clutch like that in a away park, you're playing away from home, is just. It's unbelievable.
Just an absolute nuke.
I think if that would have been like made out of like just regular glass, people's home glass or just regular glass, it would have just shattered the glass. It would have looked awesome if you did that. Just the ball hit the glass and just blew it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So and then he hit another one. Maybe a year or two later, hit another one off the train. So I believe, if I remember correctly, the train was returning from a home run the previous inning before, because when they hit a home run, the train runs, right? So
right.
Did
you ever see the one he hit to right center in? I think it was right center in over in Arizona when we were playing Diamondbacks. He's hit a lot of them there, but. There was one in specific that he hit in Arizona because they had that pool, they still had that pool.
Yeah.
Well, he hit it way back there near the pool, and some guy wasn't paying attention, and the ball, you could see him turning, and he turned, saw the ball, oh my gosh, and flew into the pool. It was the pool's ball.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was like, Pujols is not only killing people with his balls, but he's destroying lives. Like Brad Lidge.
Yeah.
Guys like that.
He was never the same either, and I don't care who says what about it. He was never the same.
Not even when he went to the Phillies, he wasn't the same.
No. Not at all. So
real quick,
listen.
You playing the clip?
What's that? No,
You gonna play the clip?
I got put in timeout. I got put in timeout for.
Oh.
Yeah, so I got a warning that says heads up, copyright audio in your video stream. Your stream may be temporarily blocked. So
just tell them to shut up. Just say,
Yeah.
You shut up.
So let's divert back to softball to kind of finish things out here. I told you I'm giving you an hour. We're gonna let you stretch it just a little bit, but listen, okay, we're not gonna make this a habit, Gio. All right.
Okay.
So
okay.
You're Mr. Mikan. You like
Snacks
your
would be proud. Snacks would be proud of you.
Yeah, he would. You're Mr. Mikan. You like your Mikan bats. So I'm gonna ask you two questions.
Okay. Go ahead.
What is one Mikan that if you had to swing it for the rest of your life, what would it be? Weight, load, whatever.
Okay, the original balanced Mike and Psycho.
Oh, the original Psycho. Okay.
Yes.
I figured for sure you were going to hit us with an Ultra.
No. I love the Ultras. Okay. To me, it's like so it's kind of I love the question because it opens it up to pretty much anything.
Sure.
But I mean, as much as I love the Ultra, because the Ultra is like that's the ultimate bat. I mean, there is no bat above that. But to me, that Psycho, like my Psycho, just as I swung it more and more and more, and I probably put like 1,500 swings on that bat.
Let's see, which one was that?
That was the MS. I think it was MSPU. It was like the MSPU. It was a 14-inch barrel, and I think it was one of the first 14-inch barrels they featured. But it was gray, like had a gray and black barrel, and it said Psycho across it.
Yeah, I think I've got it pulled up here.
Yeah, it was the original. That was the original Psycho. When I saw it,
black barrel, gray handle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We're thinking of the same.
And I swung it. I should have never sold it. That was one of those bats that it's the seller's remorse thing where you sell it and you're like, oh no, why did I sell that? That was amazing. Because what I bought with that, I took that and I got I got two bats out of the deal. I wound up getting that original recoil. I remember you were talking about on the podcast before, that orange recoil. I got that, and then I got and then I at the tournament with Bohica, I took the wrapper off and used it. The Rev-X.
Yeah.
That original Rev-X, which I had up until 2 years ago.
Oh, the Rev-X was fun. I broke the rules on my Throwback Thursdays for that one, and I'm glad I did. That was a fun bat.
Yeah. Oh, very, very. I love that bat.
So
what was the other question?
Real quick, Patrick wants to know: have you ever swung the MXB? I personally have not, but I know where there's one new and rapper here in town.
Was that the one with the? Was that the one that came in pieces?
Yeah. You could interchange the handle and the barrel, and I believe you could adjust.
I never swung that.
I believe you could even adjust the loading in it as well.
I saw it, but at the time, you couldn't find a deal on one. Like that was at the time. I think those were the most expensive bat on the market at the time. You could get at the time you could probably pick up a Psycho for like 140, 150. At the time you could, and then the MXB, the cheapest one I ever found was like 300.
Well, I mean, Gio, stop and think about it. You're making one purchase and buying multiple bats. I mean, we can mix and match and carry on and.
I mean, it's fun. I mean, I guess but I mean, it's like I almost feel like that's like swinging a micro machine, or like a Lego or something like that.
Yeah, like you think it's gonna fly apart every time you swing it.
Right. It's like you swing it. It's just like if it's not clicked in like a socket. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you don't feel it click twice, you're screwed.
Right. You click it in, and then you go to swing it, and then it hits the ball, and then the barrel goes further than the ball. You know?
Oh, okay, so Patrick says, it came with two barrels. It came with a max load and a balance. I remember that now because the one that's here in town, new and rapper, he's got the handle screwed into one of them. Like the instead of it being like in the wrapper, the two barrels are wrapped together.
Wait, there's a guy who lives in town that has one?
Yes.
That lives in town? Really?
Yeah, he lives here in town.
He's just holding on to it?
Yeah, dude, he's got countless bats. He's got a bunch of old school Micans. He's got a bunch of remember when the Jeff Hall Legits, the pink and like metallic silver ones came out? He bought a bunch of those. He's got a bunch of old Eastons. I'd say he's probably sitting on 50 or 60 bats that unfortunately really aren't worth a ton of money now unless somebody's just like in the market for that bat. But I mean, I tried saying, hey, the market's getting ready to take a crap, but he enjoyed having them, so he's just hanging on to them.
Well, I don't understand why. Like, see that concept I've never understood that concept. I understand liking a bat and using it until it dies, and then or maybe buying more than one so you can have a backup. Because I mean, really, no two bats are the same, and you know that from swinging.
Sure.
So you could buy the same bat and have two of them, and one's not the same as the other.
So he he ran a team, and he wanted to make sure his guys had what they needed to win. That's what it boiled down to.
But I mean, I feel like, I mean, I guess if you have the money and you're a collector, like I play guitar too. I've been playing guitar for 30 years, and I don't collect guitars. Everything I have, I play.
Sure.
But there are some guys out there, like I've got a neighbor down the street who is a guitar player as well, and he collects. He's got like 50 guitars in his house.
Holy smokes!
But he's also
that's wild.
Well, he's single, and he's single, doesn't have any children, works a really great job.
Yeah, he deserves to have a house full of guitars if he's not going to spend it on anything else. Then
right. So I mean, I guess if I were in the same position, I'd probably have like 50 bats down here, just setting them on stuff, and be like, what do I want to use today?
You're right.
Feels like a combat kind of day.
Hey, now we're talking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I know you're a big combat guy.
Yeah. So
you were a big combat guy.
Mixing brands here. So we talked about the one Mican you would swing if you had to swing a Mican forever. What is one bat non-Mican that if you had to swing it, what would it be?
It's predictable, but I'm going to say it anyway. Suncoast.
Oh, that's fair.
Love the Suncoast.
I honestly figured. I know at one point, it's one of Matt Allen's favorite stories to tell you. You got sold on the Easton B1 there for a little bit.
Okay, so dude, how could you pass? You can't pass up a deal. It was like freaking $80 for those bats at the time.
Yeah.
They sold like, okay, so when Matt sent, I don't know if it was Matt that sent me that deal. He sent me a message. Hey, this site's got these, the B1s on sale. He goes, you should get one. And I'm like, that's a pretty good. I even sold my dad on. I was like, Dad, do you want to get this B1? It's like $80. He's like, well, yeah, heck yeah, it's a free bat. It's like pretty much a free bat. So we went. And they came with together.
Was that the year they came with they came with a 400-day warranty? Was that year?
Oh yeah. No, those were full. Was it a 400-day? Yeah, it was.
One of the years they came with a 400-day warranty, but I can't remember what year it was.
Actually, Ryan has still got the end-loaded version of that.
The L1, yeah. Ooh.
The L1, he's still got the L1. I saw it, like, dude, you still swing that? He's like, yeah. He goes, it's got like, I got 8,000 swings on it. This thing won't break.
And it just keeps getting better.
That's what I'm saying. It's one of the Eastons. Like, I always thought that Eastons were always made for guys that loved the BP, and I think Mizuno followed suit with that as well. Whenever they created their models, because what was it? The Craze? Is it the Craze?
Yeah.
The other one?
Yeah.
It was the Craze that was. Matt was telling me about that. He goes, I keep hitting this bat, and he finally broke it. Like eventually, I think he broke it. But it was another one of those bats that just. So you couldn't do that with a combat. Because combats were a bit softer barrels. And there's a few that I swung that I liked. I really liked the what was the one that I had? I had two or three. I had the B1. Remember the original B1?
Yeah.
The bomb. Okay, So I had one of those. I had if you ever swung the senior model version of those, oh my gosh.
I did not swing the senior, but I swung the Mike Masinko. Was it the Mike Masinko senior gear?
Yeah. Oh wow. No. My dad actually's got that. My dad has that bat.
The yellow one?
He has it. Yes, the yellow and white. Yeah. He's got that. Yeah.
Man.
So he's trading it. He's actually getting ready to trade it.
What's he looking for?
Well, okay, so it's not what he's looking for. He's trading it to another senior player who has got a bat that he wants. It's a melee reloaded.
Oh yeah.
My dad really likes. I threw a front through Jeremy Brooks. You know Brooks.
Yeah.
Jeremy Brooks. Okay, so Jeremy Brooks he had a bunch of bats one year. Like this was the year I was going to start playing senior ball. And Jeremy goes, dude, I got all these senior bats. Because if you want something, just contact me. I said, all right. So then I talked to my dad. My dad started talking about it. He goes, I swung this bat at BP. He goes, it's called a melee reload. He goes, you ever heard of them? I go, yeah. I go, in fact, my buddy Jeremy's got one. I was like, do you want one? He goes, well, tell me what weights he has. So he wound up getting a 27.5. But then after swinging it, because it was new and wrapper, after swinging it, I sold it for him. And he said, I'd rather have a 26.5. And then this other guy, like, you bring it to today.
Is this the 2019 melee reload? Jason wants to know.
The 2019 melee? No. Oh, yeah. Is that? Yeah, it's the blue. It's blue with like white lettering. It's an Adidas bat, not a Suncoast. It's an Adidas bat. It's got white lettering. It says melee. It says melee reloaded on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're thinking the same.
Yeah. It's a really good bat, and I think it was the last Adidas model before they flipped over to Suncoast.
Okay.
So it was, but the Suncoast. Jesse, I know we're stretching for time, but I got to tell you about the Suncoasts because.
So what Suncoast are you swinging right now? I
swing the Curtis Wolf balanced Diamond Series, which I swing a 27-ounce balanced, and eventually I'm going to probably get there was the 2021 or 2022. This is gonna flip you out. 1/2-ounce inload melee.
What? No, you're not.
The green, yes, dude. I swung it in the tournament. Billy Shaletter?
I've heard the name.
Okay, so Billy plays with the senior team, and he bought it off of Sal Orlando. Sal. Uh-huh. Okay, so he bought it off Sal, and then he comes over, peels the wrapper off. Billy comes up. It had literally, because he hit a line drive base hit for his first hit. Second hit, he hit a home run with it.
Dang.
He hands it to me so he hands it to me with the bases loaded. This is like later in the game. I think we were chasing like 7 or 8 at the time. In our first game, we had to knock the rust off. I had the bases loaded. I hit a grand slam to right center with it. I mean, and it wasn't just a fence. It wasn't a fence scraper. I hit it way over the fence. Way over.
Dude, those bats are good, man. They're so
and
good.
It was, and I told him, I said, man, I typically don't like inloaded bats, but I really, the way it felt, it didn't feel like a log on the end of it. Like, some inloaded bats you get because of the handle weight, counterweight, that center of balance, and they put the in weight on, and they put so much weight in the handle, and it kind of, you'll either give it that 1/2 ounce, or they're starting to do like 3/4 ounce inload.
Yeah, right.
Supermax so it really didn't. I didn't get that when I swung it, and it felt really good when I kind of came through the zone with it. And I also felt that way about that Easton that I swung. Remember the one that me and Snacks did the video for?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Helmer, yeah, we did the Snacks is going, wrap it up, B, wrap it up. But that's funny that he's doing that. I'm getting 3 hours out of the Snacks.
No, you're getting about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to reconvene next week.
Okay, so Eric is saying, he goes, I swing enough set for seniors. Well, those are good. They're okay. Actually, I watched the senior softball guys do another review on those, and they have a little bit different opinion about them because the barrels like go soft way too quick, and they break really easy. They're very brittle. Like they're within 400 swings. Usually, people are snapping those.
Wow.
I don't know how many. I don't know if you've snapped any, Eric, but I would just be cautious of those. But they're making so the dichotomy between senior bats and U-trip bats now is that in senior bats they're making the barrels like on certain bats they're making the barrels softer, and the reason they're doing that is because senior players need that extra oomph on the end of their swing. They're making it for players that are like 60 and above. So like for certain bats, like they'll make the barrels harder, and then really like because Dave Velasquez will say on his page, he'll say, you know what, for you younger guys, the 40 guys playing, he goes, buy these bats. He goes, use them until until the ball doesn't come off as good. He goes, and then try to sell them to guys that are like 60 and above. He goes, because they'll be able to use them then. So like if you got a senior bat and you put 500 or 600 swings on it, if you can get that many, then sell it to a senior guy, like a 60-year-old or above, and they'll get like another 400 out of it.
Really?
Or 500. Yeah. So that's kind of his. He goes, I don't swing hard like you guys. I have no idea how old you are, Eric. He goes, no. And then Jason, I'll answer you. Says, I have the 2019 Adidas Ruckus with the U-Trip 220 stand. Those are great. The Ruckus, it's one of those bats I wish I would have gotten because they were, the balanced version is really good. It's got a 13-inch barrel. It's very comparable to the senior model. I think those are one piece instead of two piece. The Melee 3s are a one piece. Those are additionally really good. Dudley just came out with a new Doom. If you guys are into the two
I saw that. I saw those just dropped. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Dudley Dooms are, I don't know what you think about the U-Trip models. I know you didn't like one of them, right? Am I wrong about that?
No, the help me, the one piece bats.
It was the black one, right? Wasn't that right?
They made some one piece bats. They were absolutely terrible. But I cannot for the life of me think of what they were. But they're Dudley Doom, the 220s. They were great. Like really a baller on a budget kind of bat. The one issue we had was I think maybe one of them, maybe two, I had a bunch of glue break loose inside the barrel.
Oh, so it had the rattle. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's to be expected. I think if I ever got rid of a bat because of a little bat rattle, I would have got rid of a lot of bats because
Oh no, it was like gravel inside the bat.
Oh, I want to sidebar just for a second and give Jason Herndon big ups. His team won their tournament recently. Their senior tournament over on the East Coast.
Hey, nice work, friend. Awesome. Nice work.
And he's going to he's taking his team to like the Eastern Championships this weekend. So I tell him good luck. I try to give him some pointers. They're playing a team called MTS, which is they're really good. They're a team out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They're really good. They hit really well, and they're major, but they probably should be playing like up in Major Plus, but whatever. They're a good group of guys too. Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Sidebar to your sidebar. The Dudley Demolition is the bat I was thinking of.
That's what it was. Okay.
Terrible.
Yeah, I was thinking
terrible.
Yeah, I remember I was listening to your, because I watch your videos, of course, and I watch your stuff over those other guys from Portland.
Hey.
Well, those other guys from Portland are like, every bat's good. Like, hey, look at this, man. It's freaking awesome, dude. They like play it up for the camera. It's like, dude, just calm down, take a breath.
They're excited guys. I mean, they're high energy. I don't hate that, but it's not for everybody.
I don't hate it, but it's like every bat they swing, like, man, this thing's wonderful. It's like, dude, really, every bat you swing is wonderful, really.
I mean, it's the hitter. It's the hitter.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, okay, so if we're talking like, because I personally, like, if I'm swinging a 240 bat today, which I'm not, but if I'm swinging a 240 bat, Louisville
or Suncoast, for sure.
Louisville, probably both. I think I would swing the Louisville Genesis balanced, and probably the newest Ruckus, the one with the tacky barrel.
Yeah.
Balance.
So, I do hate that a lot of people are sleeping on the other brands, just kind of sidebarring off into the U-Trip bats for a minute. A lot of people are sleeping on the other brands. Mikan still makes good stuff. Worth still makes good stuff. Probably two of my favorites, non-Suncoast and Louisville, have been the Stadium and the Food Dog and the Red Bat. But
I'm going to get punched.
People don't hardly talk about it at all.
Well, I'm going to get punched in the jaw for saying this, but I don't think Mikan's making really anything all that great.
Yeah, just remind me next time I see you and put a mouthpiece in.
I mean, when you're talking, like, Louisville figured something out, and so did. Oh yeah. And so did Suncoast. They found them with their. I know that the Ruckus was good, prior when they were Adidas, But when Suncoast took over that company and they became their own thing, and I think because they got a new bat developer, or they picked up somebody from another,
I don't know.
I think it was the guy from Mikan who designs their bats. Once they picked up like some new guy redesigning their bats, and they came out with the Melee series, they just took off.
Yeah,
took off.
Matthew Clark also mentioned the Pure 240s. I forgot all about them. The Pure 240s are excellent too. You see those all over DW's conference clips.
Well, okay, the Pure. Now I swung one once, and it was okay. I guess I'm not a fan of, like, I guess you just have to swing them a lot to get used to them. To me, it's like Pure feels stiff to me. Every Pure I've swung, they feel extremely, extremely stiff. And I was like, how many? Like, because I remember I was swinging. Whose was I? I was swinging PJ Brueggemann.
Yeah.
I swung his, and I was like, you mind if I try that Brueggemann? No, go ahead. And I picked it up and I swung it, and I was like, how many swings you got on this? Oh, I got like 700 on this. I'm like, really? Because it didn't feel like I felt like I hit barrel, like right in the center.
Mm-hmm.
That ball went to the outfield. It was decent. It reminded me of hitting that end-loaded Genesis when they first came out with the Genesis line. Yeah. I swung both the balance and the end-load just to try the end-loaded.
Uh-huh.
And the end-loaded Genesis, I hit it. It felt like a log, like when it hit on the barrel, but the exit speed was there. Like it flew to the outfield. Like, yeah. It was from my bat to the outfield.
Yeah, they're tight. They're tight for sure.
And it was, but when I swing the balance model, it feels more loose. Like I swing that Genesis, it feels more loose, like a bit more comparable. And maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I don't want to swing bats that just have tight barrels anymore like that.
So I think part of the theory behind that too is like the inloads could provide a little bit of different feel feedback wise, because the inload is going to kind of drive through the ball and maybe compress the barrel a little more, right?
Right. I mean, I think they found something. I mean, that's, like I said, those inload, people like them. People like those Louisville inloads. I don't blame them, because I've seen them in action. In fact, I swung one. Well, actually, I had two instances. Okay, so the first one was this guy that I played, and he came over and subbed with us in league on Sunday. I said, do you mind if I swing that? Because I'm anxious. I've been wanting to try one. This is a few years ago. And he goes, sure, you go right ahead. And it was a 26. I probably shouldn't have swung because it was an ounce lower than what I'm used to swinging.
Sure.
So I always feel like when I do that, I overswing a little bit. But on this, I was right on the ball. I was right on it. I hit a line drive, and I took the third baseman's glove off.
Well, that's rude.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I'm not even exact. Like, you know how I was exact. You know, you say I was exaggerating about the distance. Yeah. I'm totally not exaggerating about this story.
Oh, so you're not telling me another fishing story?
No, I'm not. He can come on here and tell. He can come on here and tell that story. I'm not telling another fish story. I caught this fish that was 3 times the size, of a regular catfish.
You got to hold it really close to the camera.
Right. You see how big it is?
Yeah.
But but yeah, and Louisville also put out a decent senior bat with the Richest Superior remake. That was. I don't know if you've seen those. Those are green and white. Those are
I've actually reviewed one.
Bats. Yeah, well, I don't think I watched your review on them. Sorry. Sorry, man. I don't watch every review.
You just said you watch. You just said like 5 minutes ago you watch all my videos.
I do watch. Okay. So I'm telling another fishing story. So we should
tell you fishing story.
Tales. We should just call this Geo's Tall Tales.
Yeah. That's what we'll call the next one.
but seriously, they see now. You got me thinking Geo's Tall Tales is like chapter 2 of the epic saga of BP Hero.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'd say Louisville's. I'd say if I was swinging today, I'd swing Louisville's. Louisville's probably not Mikan's. Probably Louisville's, Suncoast, and that's probably it. Maybe a DeMarini here and there, because I know the DeMarini's U-Trip is really coming around.
Yeah, DeMarini's 240s are great.
Yeah. So, and I'm not really a fan of the 240s, but then again, I don't know anybody who's my age who really likes the 240s. Really, I mean, sure. They are even just guys like you're in your mid 30s. So you remember when there was 220s and there's 240s. So
oh,
it's
heavens,
like
yes.
you have this, and there's a world of difference between the 220s and the 240s.
Right.
I mean, and then when you go out to tournaments, you watch guys hitting, and not everybody's hitting a bomb. You know what I mean? Which is
weird,
nice
right?
because, well, I mean, it's nice because it turns base hitters back into base hitters and home run hitters into home run hitters.
Yeah, it makes you earn your hits.
Right. I agree. And that's when you said that. You've actually said that on your video. You said, and I agree with that 100% because I got tired. I'll tell you a story. And this is a Kankakee story. We were in Kankakee because I was thinking, when you said that, I automatically thought Kankakee. There was this team called Red Rum. Yes, I'm going to call you out. If there's anybody involved with the Red Rum team, I'm calling you out right now.
Oh, Lord, here we go. Now my podcast is going to go viral for the wrong reasons because Gio's telling fishing stories again.
This is not a fishing story. This is absolutely true. I hope Matt's listening because Matt or some of the or Ryan or anybody who's listening, they can tell you they'll share the sentiment. Trust me. Okay, there's this team called Red Rum. They're out of Central Illinois, and I'll even can tell you that Al Kinnan. You know Al Kinnan?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Al Kinnan can vouch my story, and he can vouch what they do to their bats. Now you remember how I tell you I'm so against like shaving bats and all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which when I come on the podcast again, we will totally go into all of that if you want to. I could dive on that for days.
Listen, pal, you've already booked one episode a half hour over. I don't know how many of these episodes you want to get, but you tell me you're going to tell me a lot of stories.
Okay, so I have a million of them. Because I remember you saying, here, I'm just going to throw this out there, that you did say that if you said Gio could talk for days. You said that on your podcast before.
I'm guilty as charged. I did say that, but I meant it when I said it.
So who's telling stories now, Jeff?
Finish your story so we can wrap this podcast up, and we'll reconvene at a later date.
Okay, so Red Rum, the team Red Rum. Okay, yes, Red Rum. I hope you're listening. That's how I'm gonna say it. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, Red Rum. We played them. We were already like 4 or 5-0 going into the Red Rum game, and we were getting closer to this. Like this would have been our last game to play on Sunday, and we would have been in like the semifinal at World. So we're playing this Red Rum team. This kid walks up, dude. I swear, had to be 140 pounds leadoff hitter. Okay, 140 pounds, no bat speed to speak of, and everybody kept passing around this jet. Remember those Jeff Hall Mayhems, the one with the red barrel?
Oh yeah.
The red barrel that had the Jeff Hall and just had Mayhem across it. This is a long time ago. So they were passing around this, I guess it was a 26 ounce. I bet if I would have measured the weight, it would have been more like a 24 or 25. But they kept passing around this freaking Mayhem, and every ball was hit. And you ever played at Kankakee before?
No.
Okay, so in Kankakee, they got 15-foot fences. So the fences are, I think, like 290 with 15 feet.
Okay.
And every ball they hit, this is every player on the team, minus the guys who were hitting it over. Like the big guys were hitting it over. But every player from small to large was using the same bat, and they were passing it. They had like 15 bats on the rack, but they were passing the same bat. And they were passing that Mayhem just back and forth, back and forth.
Weird,
Everybody
right?
was using it. And weird. Totally ironic. Anyway, so they were passing this bat around, and every ball was either hitting the fence or it was going over the fence. And then I asked Al Kinnan because I was talking with Al about it it was a tournament like 2 weeks later, and I said, and he goes, "How'd you guys do at World?" And I said, I think we took like 7th or something like that. I said, we lost at Red Rum, then we came back the next day and we were winning the game, but half our team had drank and did cocaine the night before, and then we wound up taking 7th. Which I could tell you a story about that. Oh my gosh. Matt could vouch for that story too.
Last story. This is your last story, Gio.
So Al's like, he goes, "So who'd you play?" I go, "Red Rum." He goes, "Dude, those guys are notorious for shaving their bats."
That's what you want to hear.
I go, "No, not what you want to hear." And they wound up, I think, taking second in the tournament to this other team called the Gladiators, and they were out of Chicago or something like that. They were. It's really sad to go to. And if you go to Texas, have you ever played in Texas or anything like that, or anywhere south of Mexico?
No.
Stuff. It's like breathing down there. It's people using shaved bats and shaving their equipment. It's even going on in senior play. If you can,
I have heard that. I have heard that the seniors are kind of running rampant with altered bats when you go to certain areas right now.
It's retarded. Why would you shave a senior bat? Are you that hard up for a single? Really? Really?
The answer is apparently yes, right?
No. You're a douche if you do that. You're a douche. I'm a Christian man saying you're a douche. You're a douche if you do that. If you cheat at a sport that like most guys are paying to play, you're a douche. That's who you are. I called you out. That's right. Everybody listening, I called you out if you shave your bats. That's right.
Well, hey, listen, I'm gonna pull you down off your soapbox. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I strongly feel the same way. But everybody feels like they've got to do something to have an edge, right? It's frustrating, and it's going to be a thing. They've thought they've came up with ways to keep bats from being altered, and then there's also the argument that if a bat company goes out and makes bats that are unalterable, I don't even know if that's a word. I just made it one.
Pure tried to do that. Pure tries to do that with the flushing cap and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but there are people that have found ways to shave those and replace the end caps. So it's just never going to end.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
are you serious?
Yeah, it's just never going to end.
Oh,
so I completely.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It is. It absolutely is. And
I don't understand. Like I can't, Jesse. I can't wrap my head around that. Like to me, the bats are already good. All you got to do is just go up and swing them. And if you have a problem with hitting, you go and work on your game a little bit. Work on your mechanics.
Yeah.
Get better.
I agree.
Oh, and I got to tell you this because I used your name the other night, and I used it as a verb.
Oh,
I used it as a verb. Okay, so we're playing league. I'm playing league with Matt Allen. I know it's another story. I'm sorry, but I'm playing league with Matt Allen, and Matt Allen's, he hits after me in league, so it's nice because he hits home runs. I don't have to run.
Yeah, right.
So I hit a ball like he came up and I put my hands. I chopped at the ball. I cut it, and I cut it to right. And I come back in and he hit a home run. Like I just hit I think it was just a single, but I chopped it to right. It was great. Nice, crisp line drive. And I get to first. Matt Allen hits a home run. I walk back in. He goes, that was a great way you hit that ball to right. I go, yeah, I Jesse Dolliched it. I said it just like that.
Hey, I mean, I guess I got to be known for something, right?
Right. I was like, because your swing is so unique. You got a very unique swing.
Yeah, it's
not everybody
pretty.
Not everybody can do what you do either.
See, and it's just kind of an accident, really. I've talked about that, I don't know, numerous times, but it just kind of happened. I thought I knew what I was doing. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And then I realized that was a terrible idea. And I spent so many years doing bad things that I just can't shake it. I try and I try and I try, but it's just going to constantly be a thing for me. I don't mind spinning the ball, but what I hate is chopping at the ball to spin it. So it's
I mean, so I imagine you're pretty good at chopping wood. So, right?
Well, I mean, chopping wood would be more of a level swing, though, right? I mean, I'm not.
No.
Okay, I guess we're cutting it down from the base. We're cutting it down from the base. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So, like I said, you bring your hands down to the ball. Like when I watch you hit, you bring your hands down to the ball.
Yeah.
You actually get your hands to where you extend where your elbows are flexed out and you're extending to the ball.
Sure.
Okay. Like my swing's more of, like, I guess probably your typical swing is that my hands are up and I swing through the ball.
Sure.
Like that's just kind of how I've always swung. It feels comfortable. To me, hitting's all about comfort. So if you can hit with precision and power and a little bit of just lift, and as long as you're doing it comfortably and you can produce the result multiple times in a row, it's fine.
It don't have to look good. It's just got to work.
Right. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It just has to work. It's
if for any of the podcast listeners, and I don't know if you know who Bradley Jones is playing in the conference right now, probably one of the best, if not one of the best hitters in the conference as of right now. He this last year or so, he has started cutting himself off, so his feet are actually closed significantly to me. He's definitely further than like heel to toe as far as like how close his feet are.
Mm-hmm.
But when you watch that man hit a ball, nobody's telling him to change his feet.
Well, no, because actually, when you have a short stride like that, when you have, like to me, it's like, again, he's probably comfortable swinging that way. I prefer like a more closed and short stride because I leverage my weight forward.
Sure.
So when I learned how to hit a softball. I mean, obviously from watching my dad, but I learned mostly from a Marini hitting video, like an old Marini hitting video. I've shared
Ray
it with
DeMarini.
a few guys. Yeah, Ray DeMarini. So Ray DeMarini talks about the weight transference system. It's using physics to influence your hitting in the softball realm, because you don't have speed on the ball to project it. So to project that, that trampoline effect. So you need to be able to get your hands out in front and meet that ball timing wise with all of your body weight going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how you hit. That's the only way you can hit. So
sure, I agree.
Yeah. So I just try to follow, like when I hit, I try to follow. I don't try to do anything fancy. I watch guys that do this, Craig Counsell type, waving the bat over their freaking head
walking the box. A flag
and they do all of that stuff. It's just like, dude, just if you break down your swing a little bit more, it's like they're looking for that, like it's a timing mechanism. It's like, how is that a timing mechanism? They're not throwing 90, If you watch the major guys, they don't get crazy with they may do like a little wave just to kind of because someone got like nervous tics and that kind of stuff. So, it's just like a force of habit.
Yeah, you'll see some hitching, but everybody's feet are stone cold still.
They're everything about them is stone cold still until they swing.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like almost like they always sit back on the ball, always. And I always watch that. That's always noticeable when you watch the major guys. They always sit back and they wait. They never lunge.
No.
They never lunge for balls. They may hit fly balls, but most of the time they're hard outs, like line drive hard outs. Even if they're fly balls that they hit, like, playing on 400-foot fields that they go 390 in center, or still, they don't lunge for them. They'd be out of every 300-foot park ever.
Yeah, how infuriating is that, right?
Right. Who was the guy we were watching? This was so many years ago. It was when the Resmondos first came out.
Okay.
Were you playing then?
Yeah.
The Resmondos first came out. Team Resmondo. That was when Team Resmondo kind of started.
Yeah.
And those Resmondo guys are playing at BMAC, and I watched a few of those guys from Team Resmondo just absolutely hitting the parking lot. People had to move their cars because they were like hitting the parking lot and hitting cars. It was ridiculous.
Well, I remember they signed up for a tournament. Oh, it's been probably 5-ish years ago. They signed up for an open tournament, and so many people had it fit and wanted to back out that they had to kick Resmondo out of the tournament.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I would have played them. I don't care who I play. Yeah, play them. Why not? It'd be. If anything, it's a great story. It's something you could tell somebody else. Like I could have told it on this podcast tonight if I would have played them.
And tell me you won't learn something.
Yeah, I mean it's, but I know I've kept you like for all night now. So
yeah, it feels like all night. I think.
Well, the sun's
about 20 minutes.
So.
Say 20 minutes. My alarm's going to go off to get ready for work. So. Well, listen.
Well, Jesse, I gotta say it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love listening to this podcast. I love listening to you. You're very good at this. I say keep going and doing this.
Yes.
I'll always be listening.
I appreciate it.
And I'll do whatever I can. I try to do whatever I can to help promote your stuff. You know what I mean?
I'm glad we finally got this done. We've been talking about doing this for I don't know how long. I'm glad we finally got it done.
Probably a year now.
Yeah, it feels like
we've been talking about doing this. You have snacks on like every other week,
He quit. He refuses anymore. We'll talk with him about that.
I'm a little jealous.
Well, you know what? We'll get the trio next time.
We should do that. We should have him and me on. That would be a really interesting podcast. We could actually make it like a Disney Marvel.
Oh, we're due for another one of those.
Yeah. You said he refuses to come up. Did he say why? Did you say why?
Because he's grumpy.
Because he's grumpy.
Yeah.
He's really good on this. He's really good at this. I think he's a really good guest. So
he's a grumpy old fart. That's
all right.
That's I'm calling him out. That's me calling, because I know he's going to listen to this. That's me calling him out.
Oh, Grumpy Snack. He's a big softy at heart.
Yeah.
He really is. He's a big teddy bear. He's awesome.
It's all a
He's
front.
great. I know, but he is. But when he like online, he's Grumpy Snacks.
Yeah.
He's always Grumpy Snacks.
Oh yeah.
I always remember that. What was that picture they had on the softball fans page? The actual grumpy cat.
The grumpy cat, yeah.
The grumpy cat.
Yeah, that is great. Well, listen, we're gonna shut it down. Thanks for coming on the podcast. We'll do this again soon.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, absolutely. We'll do it again. I could tell 10,000 more stories. We can do 18 podcasts on this.
Well, you got 10,000 more stories. We got about 4 of them out of the way. So we got another 900 episodes to go. Thanks for stopping in, my friend. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Everybody else, swing hard in case you hit it. BP Hero, catch you next time.
See you guys.